So, Naxal terror in the state of Chhattisgarh rearing its ugly head again. I have a wonderful panel with me tonight, starting with Professor Madhav Nalapat, Managing Editor of the Sunday Guardian, Bijon Mishra, consumer activist, also Ian Ram Mohan Rao, former DG BSF, Tehseen Poonawalla, founder of YouthCongress.com, and Sudhanshu Mittal, a leader of the BJP. I'd like to start the show, if I could, with Professor Madhav Nalapat. So, while acknowledging Naxalism as a security threat, the UPA chairperson a couple of years ago, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, had made it clear to the government that greater emphasis on and greater sensitivity towards development issues was needed rather than firm police action or boots on the ground. That wouldn't work against the Naxals. Has the narrative changed after Saturday attack?
Well, I think the narrative has changed in the sense that it's very, very clear that you do need a very strong policy to deal with this kind of a problem, and you do need much better policing. The point I'd like to make is frankly about the Congress party boycotting this particular meeting called by the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh. They're making the same mistake that the BJP has made in Parliament of running away from a debate, running away from a discussion rather than participating in it. I wish that politics gets out of this. I wish people in different political parties can pool their ideas together and solve this problem rather than one very large party in Chhattisgarh just walk away from this kind of a meeting.
I want to come to Tehseen on this, and I'll ask you the Congress view as well, and Mr. Mittal as well. But we're staying with you, sir, right now. Do you think, we saw right now in the bulletin before this, is it that petty politics over an issue that is something we should avoid? Both the major political parties are still playing dirty politics over something that is a national tragedy.
Well, I fully agree with you, and I think I'd like to point out something even more dangerous, which is the fact that politicians from various parties reach out to groups in the Naxalite world. They in fact get the help of senior people in the Naxalite community to fight against their political opponents. Now you have to use non-violent methods to fight in a democratic system. You should not resort to violence to beat your opponent in a political argument. So both sides, unfortunately, are relying on elements of the Naxalite community, and this is severely weakening the drive against this problem.
Okay, Tehseen Poonawalla, who is representing the Congress right now, before I go to Mr. Mittal, there is this feeling that the Congress has had in place, what people call a confused policy about Naxalism. Answer that.
Absolutely not, because in Andhra Pradesh, where it was our government, we fought Naxalism very successfully, and we brought about development, and the problems come to an end. The problem is, before I go to the Congress strategy, I'd like to contradict Sir on one thing about the boycott of the meeting. What do you expect the Congress to do? Every single suggestion has been ignored. As we go through the process of the debate, if you understand the way the state government functioned, there was no protection given to the leaders. The police station was barely 5 kilometers away at a distance of 10 minutes. Yet the area was not sanitized. But we'll go into those issues later on. Even right now, you all broke the news. The BJP leaders are saying it is a Congress top leadership that has planned this attack and eliminated its own leadership. I mean, this kind of ridiculous statements. This shows the BJP and the state government, headed by the BJP, Raman Singh, is just not serious in fighting this problem. The funds to fight it, apart from there are 30 battalions of paramilitary forces, 30,000 troops there, the funds for tribal areas has increased by 43% over the last 4 years. 43%, I'm talking about Chhattisgarh. Yet there is no development in Bastar, Dantewada. Not the first massacre. 76 of our brave soldiers were massacred. The BJP just doesn't seem serious.
That was Tarmetla, and I remember that incident.
Yes.
Sudhanshu Mittal answered that the BJP is playing petty politics now. Anant Kumar comes out and says that Ajit Jogi has planned it. That's not just Anant Kumar, that's the whole of BJP saying that. Don't you think we are reducing this to petty politics?
I'm very pained and very disturbed about how the entire polity is responding to such a serious issue. I mean, I really don't want to get into apportionment of blames. You heard arguments or you heard statements from the congressman saying that there was a conspiracy theory about what has happened. Today you are having somebody from this side saying the same. I'm very pained.
No, but
I
answer that, sir. Anant Kumar's statement, sir.
Naxalism and terrorism.
Sir, Anant Kumar's statement is very clear.
Allah.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you look at statement of Mr. Narayan Swamy, it is also clear. You look after a statement of everybody, it is also the same. So unfortunate part of the story is that in this case, the polity is not behaving the way it should be behaving. And that's the reason why I do not want to get into party stands and party politics. I want to say it's a larger issue. Look, it's an issue which confronts the entire country. Democracy has to survive without the pressure of bullets and barrels of guns. It has to survive on the manifestation of the desire of people through ballots rather than this kind of polity. And look, let's not confuse nationalism with the issues of tribals. The tribal issue is entirely different. Nationalism is different. Nationalism is the manifestation of a political ideology which wants to seize power through the barrels of guns. Is that what we are going to permit in this country? Is this what democracy is going to be all about?
Okay, Mr. Mittal, I agree with you.
We and Congress are opposition to each other. But all of us, including the, including the Parivartan Yatra of the Congress, has all the right to go to people and explain what they want, what they are standing for. And I don't think they deserve bullets.
Sir, I agree with you.
To me was a hero.
I agree with you on the fact. I agree with you on the fact this is a national problem. We should not make petty politics over it and not politicize the issue. But some people, sir, would say that the manifestation you're talking about comes from the social ills for the past 60 years. But I'm going to come to Bijon right now. Bijon, no matter what Tehseen or anyone in the Congress says, there has been a shift in the Congress. Now, example one, in 2011, Mr. Jairam Ramesh delivered the Sardar Patel Memorial Lecture on the topic of the Maoist issue. He said on record that he did not believe a strategy based on the primacy of paramilitary forces and police action would bring long-term results. Saturday, the massacre happened. Jairam Ramesh has changed his tone. Does that indicate the confusion or the change in narrative?
I fail to understand that why are the political parties trying to do one-upmanship, that what is right and I am right and I am wrong. For a social sector, I mean, coming from a social sector, I always felt that the political parties should demonstrate a will to show that solution which needs to be provided socially and be able to negotiate, to understand how we can come together, to understand that all these political ideologies which are clashing with each other, how we can change our attitude to accommodate people and make the social development a kind of a big platform for everybody to come in, rather than trying to have a political gain out of such incidents and such environment which has been created. I fail to understand that why the dialogue doesn't open. What is that reason? And for me, the only reason is the lack of trust.
Okay, well,
the lack of trust. Very briefly come in. On the floor of the House, Mr. Chidambaram and Mr. Mittal will bear testimony to this, said on the floor of the House, all he wants the Naxals to do, or the Maoists to do, is to come and negotiate. All he wants them to do. They haven't done that. Money has been given. Schools have been open. Healthcare centers have been open. The Naxals, the Maoists, they use women as shields. We have sympathies for the tribal. We have to take care of our tribal citizens. They are our fellow citizens. Whether it's the Congress or BJP, we need to reach out to them. We need to take them along. But Naxalism, using the barrel of the gun, you cannot.
No, it is not the issue.
I am sorry.
You are there. Let him finish. Jairam Ramesh is now saying they are terrorists. You cannot negotiate with them.
The Naxals, not the tribals. Sympathy, Jairam Ramesh also said our sympathy, and we must reach out to the tribals. They must be taken along in development, not the Naxals. They have to give up arms.
Okay.
Mr. Chidambaram asked them to come and negotiate, not a single group.
Okay, Mr. Mittal, I will come to you. I know you want to make a point, but please, I want to go to Mr. Rao first, then I'll come to you. Mr. Rao is, of course, the DG BSF. I have a question for you. Do you think, as a former BSF man, as someone who's done the khaki, who's done his bit for the country, do you think India, the past government, the current government, has a confused policy on the Naxal issue?
I'm first of all only Ram. I'm not Ram Mohan Rao.
Right.
My mistake. I was a police officer for 35 years and have a lot of experience in insurgency. I've been trained in it, counter-insurgency. I've operated in Assam, Nagaland, Manipur, and finally in...
Does India have a confused policy on Naxal?
No. Let's make things very clear. Every insurgency has a cause. Why have civilian people taken to the gun? That's the first question you ask when you find an insurgency is happening.
Absolutely.
Just like that, people will not take to the gun. Now, what is the thing which the government, where the government has failed? There are three players in this game. One is the government, one are the tribals living there, they are the scheduled tribes, the bottom of the list, as far as the caste hierarchy in this country goes. One are the Maoists. The Maoists are the latest version of communism. CPI came in 1946 after the Russian Revolution operated in Tebaga movement in North Bengal, operated in Telangana, which is just where he is. Why did they operate? Because the rights of the tribals were not being given by the upper caste. And that is why in 1950, when the Constituent Assembly assembled, they framed two schedules, the 5th schedule and the 9th schedule. The 5th schedule concerns the tribals. And there is a reason why the honorable members of the Constituent Assembly have framed the 5th
We understand the problem.
No,
sir.
no, no, no. I have to explain this.
What I want to ask you is, because we have a paucity of time, that do you think the current Naxal policy, so to say, of the government, first they say negotiate with them, give them development, that's the cause. Now they're saying that terrorists, no negotiation with the terrorists.
Listen,
Do you think we have a sort of a flip-flop
there are
going
two simple things. You cannot develop, first of all, you have to give them rights. In all these years from 1950, you have given no rights to the tribals.
Exactly my point.
What are the rights which is there in 5th schedule? They are to form a panchayat.
Yes,
And it is the governor who is to form the panchayat, not the chief minister.
That is
The chief
exactly
minister
what-
has no role as per the constitution in administration of scheduled areas in this country.
Absolutely.
All reserve forests are scheduled areas.
Okay.
So it is the governor who is to appoint a tribes advisory
And that
council,
hasn't been
which is
done
about.
yet.
It
No,
has not
no,
been
not
done.
been done.
Now please tell me why the honorable members of the Constituent Assembly specifically said the governor and he will report directly to the President of India. They did not have faith
We
in the
have
politicians
failed
in
the
this country.
tribals. I'm not blaming anyone. We as a country have
No, no,
failed
no.
the tribals.
Now you have given no rights to them. So you have created a vacant space, and into the vacant space the communists have come in.
Absolutely. No, we understand that
First
problem.
CPI, then CPM, then CPML, and now the Maoists.
Now, no, the
There is
reality,
no
sir,
question of talking to the Maoists.
Sir, the reality-
Maoists are our enemy, are the country's enemy. There is no question of talking to them.
So you're basically making a
You
distinction
have
between
to
the
remove
tribals and the Maoists. I understand
You
that.
have to remove the cause of this insurgency. Give the rights to the tribals. Let them have panchayats be formed. Let them do the deals with the mining companies. Let them get the profit.
Exactly.
Okay, Bijon,
Let
Bijon,
the
very
profit
quickly.
go
You
to
see,
the
the
government.
solution is
very quickly.
Maoists will
You see,
disappear
the solution-
automatically.
Bijon, Bijon, very
The
quickly.
solution is active engagement with the users, with the citizens. People need to have ownership in the decision-making process, which the political leaders are not allowing. They feel a threat. I do not understand why. And that is the reason we social sector people are questioning that why are you perceiving it as a threat? It is part of your business.
Professor Nalapat, very
You
quickly.
know, they're absolutely right. Now take for example internationally, whether it's Canada, whether it's Greenland, and whether it's Brazil, all these countries have given powers to the tribal people in that area, and as a result of it, the tribal people have been much more advantaged financially. Today, less than 1% of 1% of the profits from the mineral exploitation that takes place in these areas goes back to the tribals. 1% of 1%. It should
We
be at
haven't
least
learned
10%.
anything from that. No, no. I want to go to Mr. Mittal very quickly. Mr. Mittal, you want to raise a point. Please be brief. I have some tough questions for the Congress representative on the panel. Go ahead, Mr. Mittal.
You know, I mean, I'm very happy with what Mr. Poonawalla is saying. I compliment him for that. He's raising the debate to a higher level instead of getting into, apportionment of blames. You know, what I want to say is, let's not confuse the tribals with the Naxalites. My basic problem is with this analogy. What are we doing? The problem of the tribals is being looked into the context of the violence of the Naxalites. These are unrelated things. Look, if the group of people who have been massacred had been attacked by the tribals, then I could have understood that it's a manifestation of the frustration of the tribals. No, they have been killed in cold blood by armed, uniformed thugs of the Naxalite movement, who are nothing but terrorists. Now, their cause cannot be confused with the cause of the tribals. So at the onset, my humble request would be, let's not confuse the two issues. There is no denial of the fact that the tribals deserve their rights, and every government, right-thinking government, must enforce their rights and give it to them.
Okay,
No two
okay,
opinions.
okay. Mr.
So
Mittal,
that
Mr. Mittal.
should not be linked
No,
to
no,
what
we
is
understand your
happening
point
in,
and we agree with you.
Chhattisgarh.
We understand your point and we agree with you, sir.
Just
Sir,
one more thing. My second request is to the so-called human rights activists and so-called champions of the social sector. Please, for heaven's sake, do not endorse covertly the violence which is being perpetrated in democracy. Look, in a civilized society, there cannot be any place for violence. And people who are perpetrating violence do not deserve to be treated with sympathy.
Okay, point
What
taken,
are
sir.
you
Point
trying to
taken,
tell
point
us? You
taken,
are trying to
point
tell
taken,
us
Tessie,
that
point
there are
taken.
two different set of rules.
Yeah, point taken,
Just
sir.
to take off on what Professor Saab and Sir said out there, Mr. KC Singh Dio has shot off a letter to 9 governors of the tribal areas, asking them to implement the 5th schedule of the Constitution. He's asked each of the governor's office to have an office there, to have a department that specifically to administer these areas. At the same time, he's asked the governors to cancel all the lease agreements. Governors unfortunately believe they have to act on the advice of the state government. Now therein is the problem. But I agree with what Mr. Mittal is saying. One is bringing development to our tribal brothers and sisters, but development cannot be bought at the barrels of the gun. Why don't these Maoists come and contest an election? Contest against the Congress, contest against the BJP, do what another Kejriwal is doing. Do a political, come into the political
That's exactly what Jairam Ramesh is saying.
What is this at the barrels of gun? You're shooting people dead, using women as shields.
The point
How
is
that
Tessie,
acceptable?
the point is that's exactly what your minister Jairam Ramesh is saying. And I
Exactly.
agree with that. But this is your other minister, Mr. KC Singh Deo, and Mr.
Yes.
Nallapal, I want to come to you on this. Once again, I'm quoting Mr. Deo here. He's a tribal affairs minister.
Yes.
Once again, we've heard some sections of advocating hawkish retaliatory attacks, using army, air force, carpet bombing. This is him talking. It will only create a situation in which America found itself in Vietnam. We don't want to create another Vietnam.
Well, actually, you know, I'd be very happy if Mr. Dev were the Home Minister, because I've heard some very, very good things about him. But I'd like to point out the link between the tribals and the Maoists. The fact is that the tribals are the sea where the Maoist fish are swimming. They are swimming because the sea is receptive to them, because the tribals believe that they have been cheated, and they have correctly been cheated, which is where the tribals are relevant. You cannot separate the two things. You have to ensure justice to the tribals before you can succeed in the war
I have 2 more
on
minutes
Maoism.
left. I have only 2 minutes
Just
left.
no,
I want to come to Ram Mohan. I have 2 more minutes left. 30 seconds for you, sir. What is the way forward? There are 4 options that people are giving, and I've cut down to 4. Now, number 1 is brute force, crush them. Number 2, negotiate, get them into the mainstream. Number 3, carrot and stick, development as well as boots on the ground. Number 4, development and democracy is the only answer.
None of these. I don't know what the last part is.
Democracy and development is the only answer.
I am giving you the mechanics of how to go about it. You've got plenty of paramilitary force. Cordon off an area where there are, let us say, 30 villages or 20 villages. And you can see that no Maoist will enter these 30 villages. Many of these may be cadres who are foot soldiers, because the Adivasis are the foot soldiers of the Maoists. But cordon it off and see that they are not able to enter. Please ask the governor then to, for the first time from 1947 or 1950, to enforce the panchayat, to open up the panchayats, let them decide what they have to do with their land, and let them negotiate with the engineering company or oil company or whoever it is.
Bijon, what is the way forward?
No, one second.
For me, the way forward is very simple. Active engagement of the civil society for whom we are talking. Political leaders have to accept that they are part of the system. They cannot be denied their right. We have to be very transparent. We can't only speak on words, we have to show in action. That means just saying that schools are running and the colleges are there and hospitals are there.
What if the Maoists don't come to the negotiating table? What if the Maoists don't come to the debating table?
The civil society is a understanding lot of people who will look for themselves a solution which is long lasting.
Bijon, my question is this. What if the Maoists do not want to come to the negotiating table?
They have no right to say that, because when the civil society raises up and they understand their rights, they understand that what they are getting out of this whole system, the gain, they will themselves make sure that they are cut off and they are not there. We don't need forces. We need human touch. We need action. We need a premium to be paid.
43% more money was given to build schools, to build hospitals. They don't allow doctors to come in. They don't allow teachers to come in. They camp in those schools, use those women and children as shields. These are not excuses. This is the reality. This is the reality on the ground in Chhattisgarh.
I am telling you the mechanics of it. Take a particular portion, because it's a very vast area. You don't have that much force to cordon off the whole place.
Exactly.
Do one particular part, say 1/10 of it.
Like
or
a pilot
1/20.
project.
Yes,
Yes.
that's the story.
Now cordon off this area and don't allow the Maoists, the top
interfere.
leaders to come in. First of all, please
fair.
convince the people there that the government is with you.
Yes.
Because for all these years from 1950, the government has not been with them. Give them their rights, let them establish a panchayat.
So this is basically a golden
No,
opportunity
once you
for the
do
UPA
it,
to
once
do
you
something.
do
It's
it,
an opportunity. It's
once
an
you do
opportunity.
it,
I
these
100%
soldiers
agree.
will ask Please do it in this area. Please do it in this area.
I agree.
The
Can I
Maoists
say
will shut
something?
out.
Yes,
Maoists
Mr.
will
Mittal, I'm
not
coming to
talk.
you. I'm coming to you. Yes.
Maoists will not talk with anybody. I told you they are the enemies of this country. We don't want them.
Okay, okay, Mr.
But
Mittal,
we must do justice for our tribals.
Okay,
Can I
fair
say
enough.
something, please?
Fair enough. Mr. Mittal, very briefly, please. Yes.
Can I say something?
Yes, please, go ahead.
See, let's not give any confusing signals. Let us not have the what was the gentleman's name? Vinayak Sen.
Vinayak Sen, Dr.
Let's not
Vinayak
have
Sen.
the Vinayak Sens being appointed as advisor to the Planning Commission, because that is what actually gives a wrong signal to the Maoists.
Correct.
That they can get away with murder. Let's not do that. Let's deal with them with a very firm hand, and at the same time, let us put in all our minds to develop the land which belongs to the tribals in their own rights.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
That's the only solution.
Point taken, sir. Point taken. Now, I want to go to Professor Nalapat now, and this is a very interesting.
And let's keep the pseudo civil society away from the problem.
Okay, okay, Mr. Mittal, we are, Mr. Mittal, I have some good news for you. We are continuing with this debate. You'll have another chance to speak. Okay, one second. We are extending the debate. We are extending the debate because this is golden words. Now, Professor Nalapat, I want to ask you this. There are all sorts of accusations. Maoists are funded by China. Maoists are funded by Nepal. Maoists are funded by some other countries. They are hand in glove with the corporates. Now, this is KC Deo saying this, that Maoists are hand in glove with the corporates. Even the Tribal Affairs Minister said that. Now, I mean, is this all reflective of the fact that we are continuing to ignore what the real problem is? That the grievances of the people, I'm talking about tribals, not Maoists, haven't seen any development for 50 years?
Yes.
Aren't we overlooking that?
You know, it's like a merchant and a food shortage. A merchant cannot create a food shortage, but a merchant can take advantage of a food shortage. So the Maoists cannot create deprivation among the tribal community, but they can get advantage from the deprivation of tribal community.
They're slipping into that space, basically, that we've left
Very
open.
correct.
And that is what is happening in the country today. And I'm very, very sorry to say, there's a very cozy relationship between senior politicians and big business in the country. You go
And this is
anywhere
across the political
Let me
spectrum.
tell you, I
Yes,
go to London,
across the political
I go to
spectrum.
London, I go to Dubai, I go to Miami, I go to New York. Wherever I go, I find politicians there. And they're staying in beautiful hotels, they're having a lovely time.
Absolutely.
And when I come back and I see the election returns, they're even poorer than I am. I mean, I know, for example, as a professor, I get funded by institutions that ask me to give lectures. Who funds these people? So the fact of the matter is, this cozy relationship has to be broken. Rather than a handful of politicians and officials, the common people of that area should get the benefits which industry is willing to give them.
What about corruption in the social scheme? The UPA has some schemes. Now I understand that they've given money to the Chhattisgarh government as well as the Jharkhand government to actually implement these programs. But there is this huge accusation, Tehseen, that the money just goes away. It just slips through the cracks.
That is a fundamental problem, not just in this scheme, in all schemes. Therefore, you will need a direct cash transfer, you need a direct benefits transfer, and you need to bring in technology that comes into play. There is no other way but except technology coming into play and people giving their rights within their hands. That is something that has to be implemented, which is why the Aadhaar card, which has all the biomechanics that have come in, the biotechnology, the biometric technology that's come in.
But that's the problem, Tehseen. The implementation is the problem.
But you need to do that. But in the meanwhile, while the money is going out to set up these schools, while the money is gone out to set up these hospitals, and some of them have been set up, what happens is, you're saying the merchants cannot create the shortage, but the merchants are going there and deliberately stopping teachers from coming into educating those kids, stopping doctors from operating in those areas, thereby creating discontent for the government. Why did not one of them, when Parliament is not the Congress, the BJP, it is the whole of Parliament, the representative of the voice of the people. When the then Home Minister spoke on the floor of the House, asking them, do not even lay down your arms, just come and negotiate. Why did not a single group come? Why did they not come? Because they are benefiting from this
That's not the accusation. Beyond the accusation is that the Maoists are armed insurgents, first of all, who do not believe in the Indian state, do not believe in the Indian constitution, and hence how can we negotiate with them? If they don't come to the negotiating table saying our whole and only aim is to overthrow the Indian government, who's going to talk to them?
Yeah, and sorry, they were not even asked to put their arms down, they were just asked to come.
I'll come to you. Beyond first, I'll come to you.
You see, why have we how did we reach this situation?
No, we know how we reached this situation. In the past 50, 60 years, we haven't done anything.
So it has proved that there has been a failure in the governance. When we have a failure in the governance, then these are the repercussions we have to address. And you have to admit, very frankly, to the citizens that I have failed. I have not been able to deliver which I promised. And I have to ensure that I will not commit these mistakes again. Those cracks which you are talking about are intentionally made, are purposely made to ensure that I
Okay,
get that
I'll have to
cut.
stop you there, sir. Ajit Jogi is addressing the media right now. I'm guessing he wants to respond to what Anand Kumar and the BJP says. Take a look.
लोगों ने निभाई या नहीं, ये इस जांच का प्रमुख मुद्दा होना चाहिए, और अगर नहीं है तो ये केवल छत्तीसगढ़ की जनता को गुमराह करने के लिए की गई, स्थापित की गई जांच है। इसमें एक मुद्दा और भी जोड़ना चाहिए। अभी केंद्र शासन ने अरबों रुपए के UAV, इसको कहते हैं अनमैन्ड एरियल व्हीकल, उस क्षेत्र में उपलब्ध कराए, जिसमें कोई व्यक्ति नहीं चलाता है वाहन को, जहाज को, वो अपने आप जैसा डायरेक्शन होता है वहां उड़ता है। जिस तरह से आपने नाम सुना होगा, ड्रोन हथियारों का उपयोग अमेरिका कर रहा है। ये भारत में बने हुए UAVs हैं, जिनका उपयोग अब उस क्षेत्र में हो रहा है पिछले कुछ समय से। छत्तीसगढ़ की जनता ये जानना चाहती है कि जब हमारी पार्टी का इतना बड़ा काफिला उस रूट से जा रहा था, तो उस रूट की ट्रैकिंग करने के लिए UAV को वो मार्ग बताया गया था या नहीं। यदि UAV को वो मार्ग बताया गया था, तो इतनी बड़ी मात्रा में नक्सली उस रास्ते पर से, ये खबर पहले ही आ जाती और ये घटना घटित नहीं होती। तो ये जांच की जानी चाहिए कि क्या UAV जो अरबों रुपए के शासन ने उपलब्ध कराए हैं, उसका उपयोग कांग्रेस की रैली की सुरक्षा के लिए किया गया, जैसे रमन सिंह जी की रैली के लिए किया जा रहा था। और यदि नहीं किया गया तो क्यों नहीं किया गया, और यदि किया गया तो क्या ये सच है कि उन्हें गलत मार्ग बता दिया गया था। कुछ सूत्रों से ऐसी जानकारी मिली है कि UAV को जिस मार्ग पर हमारा काफिला जा रहा था, उस मार्ग की ट्रैकिंग न करके दूसरे मार्ग के बारे में बताया गया था। इसलिए ये एक गंभीर मुद्दा है। यदि ऐसा किया गया था तो ये बहुत ही बड़ी चूक है। अगर UAV का इस्तेमाल इस रूट पर होता, दरभा वाले मार्ग पर होता, तो ये घटना कदाचित घटित नहीं होती। इस मुद्दे की भी जांच होनी चाहिए। अगर इसकी जांच नहीं होती है तो हम इसे लीपापोती मानेंगे और इस जांच का कोई औचित्य नहीं रह जाएगा। तीसरी बात मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि जिस गुटसा उनसैंडी जी के हस्ताक्षर से नक्सली प्रवक्ता के नाम से बयान जारी हुए हैं, उनकी पत्नी का नाम है मालती प्रिय, जो एक नक्सली मामले में जेल में बंद थी। क्या मुख्यमंत्री जी ने, क्या राज्य शासन ने मालती प्रिय पत्नी गुडसा उसेंडी को जमानत दिए जाने का और रिहा किए जाने का कोई विरोध नहीं किया? हमारी जानकारी है कि मुख्यमंत्री जी के निर्देश पर गुडसा उसेंडी जी की पत्नी की जमानत दिए जाने का और उनको रिहा किए जाने का मुख्यमंत्री के कारण कोई विरोध नहीं किया गया और गुडसा उसेंडी जी की पत्नी रिहा कर दी गई। अगर ऐसा हुआ है तो मुख्यमंत्री ने उनको क्यों छुड़वाया, ये कांग्रेस भी जानना चाहेगी और देश की जनता भी जानना चाहेगी। और चौथी बात, मैंने एक बयान देखा आज जिस पर आप में से ज्यादातर लोगों से बात हुई थी। माननीय नरेंद्र सिंह तोमर जी ने टेलीविजन पर कहा कि चूंकि अजीत जोगी उस दिन रुदन कर रहे थे, इसलिए वो इस षड्यंत्र में शामिल थे। रुदन कर रहे थे और कुछ नहीं, रुदन कर रहे थे, रो रहे थे, इसलिए वो षड्यंत्र में शामिल थे, ये उनका वाक्य। तो क्या माननीय तोमर जी ये अपेक्षा करते थे कि हमारी पार्टी के इतने लोगों के नरसंहार के बाद अजीत जोगी रुदन न करे, हंसे, खुश हो? इसके अलावा कोई तथ्य नहीं है। षड्यंत्र में शामिल होने का कारण एक ही बताया उन्होंने कि वो रुदन कर रहे हैं। इसलिए मेरे वकील साहबान यहाँ बैठे हैं, फरहान जी और अशोक शर्मा जी, उनके साथी। फरहान जी ने उनको एक लीगल नोटिस भेजा है दोनों तरह का, उनके ऊपर अवमानना का प्रकरण चलाने के लिए और उनके ऊपर धारा 500 आईपीसी के अंतर्गत क्रिमिनल केस चलाने के लिए कि उन्होंने बिना किसी तथ्य पर आधारित, बिना किसी सत्य पर आधारित ऐसा अनर्गल, असत्य, निराधार और निंदनीय आरोप लगाया है। ये जुडिशियल इंक्वायरी के बारे में श्रीमती गुप्ता के बारे में और श्री नरेंद्र तोमर के बयान के बारे में कुछ बातें आपसे जरूरी करनी थी, इसलिए आपने वो कर दी।
जोगी जी, इसमें जो है 3 बातें होती है कि गुस्सा उसेंडी जो है जीवित नहीं है, वो गुस्सा उसेंडी जी है, और तीसरा जो है कि काल्पनिक नाम है। 3 तरह की बातें होती है। महेंद्र जी ने कहा है कि जो टोटल जो पत्र जारी हुआ है वो फर्जी है, तो माना क्या जाए इसमें?
मैं क्या बता सकता हूँ, मैंने तो इसकी जांच की। मैं तो केवल ये जानता हूँ कि उनकी पत्नी का नाम मालती प्रिय है और उसमें लिखा है मालती प्रिय पत्नी गुप्ता उसेंडी, और उसको मुख्यमंत्री जी ने बिना किसी विरोध के जेल से रिहा करवाया। एक करके आप पूछ लीजिए, आप सबसे पूछवाऊंगा, आप भी पूछ लीजिएगा एक एक करके।
Today, Mr. Anand Kumar has issued a statement, has made a statement in Delhi, saying that your role is also under scanner, that you are also a part of the conspiracy that was hatched, which led to this massacre. What would you have to say to that, sir?
I have not yet heard about his statement. I'll look into it. If need be, we'll also issue a legal notice to him.
जोगी जी, ये गुस्सा हुसैन
आप पूछ लीजिए।
आपको क्या लगता है कि जैसा कि आपने शांति प्रिया वाला कहा कि तो रमन सिंह और गुस्सा हुसैन के बीच में ऐसी कोई बात होगी जिससे कारण इतने बड़े हमले को अंजाम दिया गया, क्या इसमें स्पष्ट कर दें?
बिना बेल अपोज किए, बिना उनके खिलाफ कुछ चीज कहे, जेल से रिहा कराया, तो हम जानना चाहते हैं क्यों रिहा कराया। आपको उनकी पत्नी बता रही है, जेल के रिकॉर्ड में लिखा है कि मालती प्रिय पत्नी, क्या नाम है, गुस्सा हुसैनी की पत्नी को इन्होंने बिना बेल अपोज किए, बिना उनके खिलाफ कुछ चीज कहे, जेल से रिहा कराया, तो हम जानना चाहते हैं क्यों रिहा कराया।
सर, इसमें मेरा एक प्रश्न ये है।
नहीं, इसको मैं थोड़ा सा करेक्ट कर लूं। अब मेरे वकील साहब ने बताया,
उसने ये हुआ था कि सरकार ने विरोध नहीं किया था, लेकिन अभी बेल नहीं हुई।
हाँ, वो उसको करेक्ट करना चाहता हूँ। वकील साहब ने बताया कि इन्होंने विरोध नहीं किया, पर कोर्ट ने अपनी तरफ से जमानत नहीं दी। तो हम ये जानना चाहते हैं कि गुस्सा हुसैनी की पत्नी की जमानत का आपने विरोध क्यों नहीं किया। ये तो कोर्ट है जिसने उसको नहीं छोड़ा, आपने क्यों नहीं विरोध किया।
जोगी जी, सवाल मेरा है, ये पूरी
एक इनको पूछ रहे हैं
सर, ये मालती प्रिया और जो छोड़ने की कवायद है, ये कौन एलेक्ट में?
Of course, Ajit Jogi, former Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, giving his defense, saying he was saddened by the events that took place in Darbar Ghati the other day. Now, of course, the BJP is making some sensationalist claims now, alleging that former Chief Minister Ajit Jogi was behind the Naxal attack in Darbar last Saturday. With these serious charges, politics between the two national parties has hit a new low. Ajit Jogi, of course, has rubbished the charges like you just heard and saw on NewsX. He says that if there is anything against him, let it come out in the probe. Take a listen to what political bloodbath is really happening in Chhattisgarh.
कांग्रेस ही पहले दिन से, वो अजीत जोगी हो और कांग्रेस के यहाँ कांतिलाल भूरिया जी हो और कांग्रेस के अन्य नेतागण हो, वो इसमें गिनौनी राजनीति कर रहे हैं। लेकिन जब पूरा घटनाक्रम को आप देखते हो, उस नक्सली हमले का, उसमें अपने आप कई प्रश्न खड़े हो जाते हैं। वो प्रश्न ही हम दोहरा रहे हैं।
Meanwhile, it was Congress leader Kawasi Lakma, who himself is under the scanner for the attacks, explaining how Jogi did not travel with them on the day of the attack.
अजीत जोगी भी पूरे कार्यक्रम में शामिल थे, एन मौके पे वो चले गए। इस बारे में क्या अजीत जोगी क्यों कार्यक्रम छोड़ के आए थे?
वो कार्यक्रम छोड़ के नहीं आया है, कार्यक्रम सबसे आखिरी वक्त हुई था। वो हेलीकॉप्टर में आया है, हेलीकॉप्टर में गया। मैं रोड ठीक नहीं है था, उसके लाने का कोंटा रोड ठीक नहीं है, यहाँ दूर होगा। वो हेलीकॉप्टर में गया, वो हेलीकॉप्टर में आया और वो आखिरी वक्त हुई था। बीसी शुक्ला दूसरा वक्ता था, तीसरा वक्ता, दूसरा वक्ता पटेल साहब था, उसके बाद जोगी जी का वक्ता था। वहाँ पर साथ में रेस्ट हाउस गए, इन लोग खाना खाए, वो खाना नहीं खाया, टाइम हो रहा था, 3 बज रहा था हेलीकॉप्टर उड़ने का, वो हेलीकॉप्टर में आया।
चित्रकूट में सभा में अजीत जोगी को शामिल नहीं होना था?
वो टाइम नहीं था, वो उसका सभा 4 बजे 5 बजे था, तो हेलीकॉप्टर कैसे उतरेगा?
Kawasi Lakma there, of course, giving his version. Madhav Nalapat, now I wanted to discuss the broader issue of Naxalism and tribal affairs, but this has made me change my course. Look at what the BJP is saying, look at what Ajit Jogi is saying. We're still back to the same question. This is petty politics, nothing else. And is there more to what meets the eye? You know, this Congress leader, Lakma, is saying that, oh, that was always the plan, and there seems to be something fishy going on.
Well, the fact of the matter is that Ajit Jogi, from my understanding of what he was saying, is practically blaming the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh for this massacre.
For negligence?
No, by saying, if I'm not mistaken, that the wife of one of the key perpetrators of the massacre was sought to be released. I mean, a gesture of goodwill was shown to the wife of the individual who allegedly planned the massacre. So Ajit Jogi is throwing the ball back in the Chief Minister's court and blaming the Chief Minister. Now, the fact of the matter is that there may have been no resistance to a bail application, but to infer from that that the Chief Minister is behind this kind of massacre is an absurdity. And I'm sorry to say, this is a level of absurdity that Indian politics is now being reduced to because of this kind of tit-for-tat name calling.
Okay, Tehseen, I have 2 minutes, 30 seconds for you. Isn't this exactly what we should be trying to avoid?
Yeah, but you know, I mean, had this, and I'm saying this in a I'm saying this, that had this happened in a Congress-ruled state with BJP leadership, they would have wanted the resignation of the Prime Minister and everything to end. So this is, I mean, this is honestly got ridiculous. Anant Kumar was being ridiculous. Ajit Jogi does not travel by car because obviously we all know he has a situation. So that's point number one. Point number two, while the NI is investigating, and I'd like not to comment while an investigation is going on, there's some very, very fundamental questions that are raised. Now, whether that reaches the doorstep of the Chief Minister or whether that reaches the government, somebody needs to be answerable at that, and the buck needs to stop somewhere. There was not adequate security cover provided. None of the SOPs was followed. The area was not sanitized. The police ran out of ammunition.
Okay,
there was a police
let
station
Mr.
2 kilometers away.
That.
So there were all of these that need to be answered. So that, and the buck needs to stop somewhere. Now, whether that's the Chief Minister, the Chief Secretary offered to resign, but somewhere the buck needs to stop, and that's in a political leadership.
Okay, 30 seconds for you, Mr. Mittal. Only 30 seconds. I have not more, so respond to that.
I think the polity will get shamed if such things continue. The charges and the counter charges are not what the need of the hour is. The need of the hour is to unite and fight with a very determined mind. The menace of violence in democracy. I mean, I'm not talking party politics right now. My humble appeal to all would be, let's look at the big picture. Let's look at the real challenge democracy in this country is facing. I mean, the cult of violence has to be fought unitedly. We fought it in the past in Punjab. Terrorism was fought, with all the might. Let's do it in Chhattisgarh. Let's do it elsewhere, where violence is the order of the day. I really do not want to comment on all the charges and counter charges. That's really shaming the polity of this country.
Okay, Mr. Mittal, I have to agree with you on that particular point. You've said it, you've taken the words right out of my mouth. Petty politics is not what is required right now. I must thank all my guests before I sign off. Tehseen Poonawalla, Bijon Mishra, Ram Mohan, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope I got your name right that time. Professor Madhav Nalapat, Sudhanshu Mittal as well. Many thanks for joining us. It may not be realistic really to expect a democratic state to find a quick fix solution to a social rebellion, if I'm not wrong. It's a social rebellion, and to turn around such a rebellion in such a quick time. But the state has to be ready for a long haul if we plan to get democracy back to our states, and especially in these Maoist hit areas. That's all the time we have on the New Desk Debate. I'm Asar Khan. Good night.